Hello everybody, this is going to be a mid-game bleed build guide to hopefully help give you some ideas if you're struggling to kill stuff throughout the mid-game, to help you transition into the late game maybe a little bit easier. So, first off, I have dual Reduvias. Now, in order to get the dual Reduvias, you are going to have a friend drop one. Otherwise, you can use things like, if you really wanted to, you could upgrade a great knife and make it a Colt, or turn a great knife. Yeah, you could turn this into an occult great knife, which is then going to double up on that bleed, etc., etc. Or you could look to use this. You wouldn't be able to power stance, but you can look to use other items and such like that. But you won't be able to get dual Reduvia specifically unless you have a friend drop it for you in the mid game, or until you get to New Game Plus, because you do get Reduvia very early on. All you have to do is go right over here to Murkwater Cave. Whenever you try to walk into here, you'll be invaded by Bloody Finger Nerigis, I believe. And then if you are too low level to kill him, just run right over here, and then Yura ends up spawning and he will help you kill him. So you can get the Reduvias pretty early on. So after that, I used the White Mask. Now, you get this by going to the Mogwin area, and there's going to be some White Masked invaders there. You might have to progress the White Mask guy's quest line. So pretty much what you have to do is talk to him right over here. He should be standing right here by a church. You talk to him, he says he wants a sacred cloth. So you have a couple options. So you can go over here to the Chapel of Anticipation. The way you get here is through Godric's Castle, or the other option, I believe, is to go up here. You see this area right here. Now you're gonna have to run through a Frenzied Flame village, but you pretty much just kind of make your way up around. Yeah, so see, you can see the village here. So you go up like this, boom, 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 and up here, and you'll actually find a priest girl that's pretty much dead that you get the cloth off of, and then that'll allow you to teleport to the Mogwin area, so you can go fight some of those White Masked invaders to get the mask. After that, Radahn's Greaves. I use these because it has pretty decent defense. So, I mean, it's really just solid mid-game armor. I noticed that whenever I put this on, I just didn't take as much damage. However, in order to get this, you do have to kill Radahn. Now, in order to get the Radahn fight done, all you have to do is either progress. I think you either have to kill 2 bosses and just kind of progress normally, and then it'll kind of skip the quest line, or you need to actually go do the Blade quest line, and then eventually it'll progress you into Radahn's Arena. Then after you do that, all you have to do is go to Round Table Hold, and you can purchase it from the lady that you turn in your remembrances to get the weapons from. Okay. After that, I use Radagon's Sword Seal, an item that you can get really early on just by going over here to Fort Faroth, running in there and grabbing it. I use Lord of Blood's Exaltation, which you go to the Lindell Catacombs to get. So this one's a little bit tricky to get. You have to go in pretty deep, but it is worth it. What it does is you increases your attack power whenever there's blood loss in the vicinity. The Winged Sword Insignia raises attack power successive hits, and then the Prothesis Wearer Heirloom increases your dexterity. So Winged Sword Insignia, you get that right over here in Stillwater Cave. You just got to go kill the boss in there. It's pretty easy. You get this for going further with the Millicent questline, which if I'm not mistaken, you have to go kill Commander Null. So you go over to here. You got Salia, Town of Sorcery. So you go to Gallery Shack. You talk to him. He then tells you to come out here to the Heart of Aeonia. You kill Commander Null here, you get a sewing needle, you take it back to him, just teleport to like a another grace or something and then walk back to him. And then after you walk back to him, he'll have it repaired. And then you go up here to the Church of the Plague and give it to Millicent. That's where she's going to be. That's going to stop the bleeding. And then I believe she rewards you with that talisman. Now, in order to get here, if you don't do the Celia Town of Sorcery thing, I don't think there's like an actual way to get up here unless you come from like above and just kind of slowly drop down into the church, right? You kind of have to Skyrim it, I guess, by coming down through here. But with that being said, moving on. So for Spirit Ashes, there's two options. Okay, now you can use Blood Knight Flow, or you can use the Mimic Tier. Now, personally, I'm actually a fan of Bloodhound Knight Flow because she's way faster. Like, just way faster than the Mimic Tier. Like, I noticed the Mimic Tier, it just takes forever to move around. Like, yeah, it's cool that they have the same gear as you, but they don't really necessarily use the special attack that much. The special attack isn't like a crazy long range, right? So you can kind of see it's not a crazy long range. So even if they use it from range, it's not like it's gonna stack it super fast. So whereas Bloodhound Knight Flow does bleed build up on the attacks and is just faster. It's just a faster summon that actually charges at it, hits it. I've had a lot more success with the Bloodhound Knight Flow. So in terms of upgrading your weapons, realistically you're going to be able to get this to both of these to a +6. If you do the Great Knife, you should be able to get that up to like a +20. Then when it comes to the Spirit Ashes, you can actually get this to +10, but in order to get it to +10, you are going to have to kill Radon. The reason for that is because you need to be able to progress Ranni's quest line, which you have to go up here, fight through the academy, and then find her in Ranni's Rise. She's going to tell you that she wants a sacred heirloom from Nokron. So then you go into Nokron, you get the Finger Slayer blade, and in the same chest the Finger Slayer blade is in, there is also a great Ghost Glovewort, which is going to allow you to get to level 10. Then you take that back to Ranni, and then that's going to give you access to Rinna's Rise, which will then allow you, which there's a portal on top of there, which is then going to allow you to get to Noxtella, the Eternal City. And if you can get to Noxtella, that means you can get to, there's like a bunch of 7s, then there's an 8 and a 9 Great Ghost Glovewort in Noxtella that really isn't too difficult to get to. So then you'll be able to get that to +10. So that's really it for the mid-game build that I am currently using. I know it's nothing too crazy, but it is pretty effective. So with that being said, I leave you with a Morgott kill. I apologize for the footage. I didn't realize how choppy my screen recorder was, so I have since switched software. But enjoy. Almost forgot to let you guys know, where do you get Bloodhound Knight Flow? So you get in the Mimic Tier, you get the Mimic Tier from Nokron Turtle City. It's in a chest in Nokron. And then you're going to get Bloodhound Knight Flow, which is going to be a little bit more difficult, but it drops off of the boss in the Gelmer Hero's Grave way over here towards the end of Altus Plateau. This is rather difficult, so I highly recommend you take your time. You have all kinds of chariots and stuff like that to get through in order to get to that, so be very, very careful, but it is worth it. Alright, so for the Morgott kill, pretty simple. If you're going to use a flask, I recommend the Leaden Tier and the Dexterity Knot Crystal. You get the Dexterity Knot from Learning of the Lakes, it's just on an island. And then you get the Leaden Tier from killing the Ulcerated Tree Spirit that is in Mount Gelmer, but not really very necessary. I don't really feel like Bleed has a crazy good flask to use, that's why I don't particularly use one all the time, but the poise one's cool, I guess, if you just want to, you know, kind of poise tank it out. But as you can see, summon Bloodhound Knight Flow and just murder him. So just kind of walking back, dodging all these big AoE abilities. Alright. Alright, does that, and then I'm just gonna use the special attack to finish him off. Not too bad, not too bad. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope this helps.